Anne Baxter was a renowned actress who enthralled audiences with her stunning appearance, extraordinary talent, and many famous roles. Through her iconic classics such as All About Eve and The Ten Commandments, as well as her Oscar-winning performance in The Razor's Edge, she has established a legacy that will endure for generations to come. Despite the fact that her depiction as Nefertari in The Ten Commandments was mesmerizing, the uproar and intrigue that arose from her exposing outfit was significant. Due to the fact that Anne Baxter's design was so audacious, she did not leave much room for the audience's imagination, which caused them to question why the costume appeared to be so daring. Or was it something more contentious, such as a design error, a purposeful artistic choice, or something else entirely? Check it out until the very end to find out. Born in the United States, Anne Baxter was a well-known actress who appeared in both Hollywood films and Broadway shows. She has been honored with a number of accolades, including the Golden Globe and the Academy Award. As the granddaughter of Frank Lloyd Wright, Anne Baxter was a prominent actor for approximately half a century, and she dominated the entertainment industry in Hollywood for a considerable amount of time. The actress is well known for her work in a variety of films and television shows, including Batman, The Razor's Edge, All About Eve, and The Ten Commandments. Both the Academy Award and the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress were bestowed upon her for her performance in The Razor's Edge. She played the role of Sophie, a young American woman who was experiencing heartbreak in Paris, in the film The Razor's Edge. A film adaptation of Somerset Maugham's novel was produced for the big screen. The next year, in 1951, she was nominated for an Academy Award in the category of Best Actress for her performance in the film All About Eve. In this role, she portrayed Eve Harrington, a young actress who was skilled at social climbing and plotting. It's interesting to note that she had roles in 5 films that were nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture. These films were The Pied Piper, The Magnificent Ambersons, The Razor's Edge, All About Eve, and The Ten Commandments. Over the course of her career, she has collaborated with a number of the most brilliant directors in Hollywood, like Billy Wilder, Alfred Hitchcock, and Fritz Lang, among others. In recognition of her efforts on The Ten Commandments, she was awarded the Laurel Award for Top Liner Female Dramatic Performance. Cecil B. DeMille was her collaborator on the project. Nefertari, the Queen of Egypt, was the character that the actress who won an Academy Award for her performance in The Ten Commandments is best remembered for. However, there is one thing that many of her followers remember when they watch the movie again, and that is the fact that her costume is a complete failure. In June of 1954, Anne Baxter was overjoyed to learn that she had been cast in the role of Nefertari in the film The Ten Commandments, which went on to win multiple awards. In addition to attending the New York and Los Angeles premieres, her sequences were shot on the sound stages of Paramount, where she also produced the film. She was praised for her acting by a number of well-known critics, including the New York Daily and the Hollywood Reporter, despite the fact that she was subjected to a great deal of criticism for her performance. A Laurel Award was also bestowed upon her. It was because of the popularity of her performance in the film that one of her lines, "Oh Moses, Moses, you stubborn, splendid, adorable fool," was selected to be one of the 400 statements that were considered for inclusion on the list of 100 years, 100 movie statements that was compiled by the American Film Institute. Furthermore, her performance as Nefertiti turned out to be the most sought-after job of the year. She published an article for a newspaper in August 1955, while she was working on the filming of The Ten Commandments. The article was titled "The Egyptian Queen Role Presents a Problem for a Modern Movie Star." Within the context of this article, she addressed the cosmetics and perfume of ancient Egypt. It's almost a coincidence that Anne Baxter was born in the same year that Cecil B. The Ten Commandments was published by DeMille in the year 1923. She would go on to play the lead role in the film's final version. DeMille's grandiose and campy directing style did not properly exhibit Anne Baxter's dramatic potential, according to Baxter, who has frequently voiced her qualms about her performance in the film. Nevertheless, the movie was a huge success by any measure. The portrayal of Nefertiti that she gave to viewers at that era is still considered legendary, and it helped to solidify her position as a prominent actress. An abundance of attention was drawn to the film The Wardrobe due to the fact that it was a historical film. Due to the fact that the movie was set in the splendor of ancient Egypt, the costumes were made to be able to completely capture the appeal of the historical period. In spite of the strict fashion standards of the 1950s, Nefertiti wore clothing that included a combination of revealing cuts and extravagant motifs. This was a remarkably daring choice. During her performance as Nefertiti in the Ten Commandments, she made a mistake in her wardrobe, which contributed to her overall allure and elegance. It is possible that you would find this error to be a source of amusement if you were to view it today yet. Given that it is a film from the 1950s, the error is acceptable. The fact that Anne Baxter wore a dress that was turquoise brought up an issue because turquoise was not a color that existed throughout the period of the Bible. In addition to that, her underwire was visible through the dress she was wearing. Because the dresses were see-through, it is possible to see her body even if you watch the movie today. This was a concern because the dresses were translucent. It has also been reported by some viewers that they are able to see her nipples while viewing the movie. Intermission, a true story, which was written by Anne Baxter in 1976, is an autobiography in which she explores the practicalities of trying to wear those bold clothes. Her revelation was that, despite the fact that the outfits were essential for her work, she had to make sure that she was modest and avoid any exposure that may be considered obscene. The costumes that Anne Baxter wore left little room for the imagination, yet she did wear a skin-dyed bra and a skin-dyed G-string underneath her elaborate costumes. As a result of the seamless integration of her underwear with her skin tone, people were led to feel that she was exposing her body while in fact she was actually concealing herself. Many individuals did not trust her, despite the fact that she asserted that she had taken these safety measures. There were also many who asserted that they were able to see her nipple through her clothing. There are certain movie moments that have caused controversy among cinema historians and spectators, particularly those who are recognized for their critical analysis of old Hollywood. Throughout the years, there have been claims that the outfits worn by Anne Baxter were designed to show more information than was originally intended. Because of this conjecture, Baxter was subjected to a great deal of scrutiny, as many people criticized her for wearing clothes that were translucent, which left very little room for the imagination. Due to the fact that she wore several exposing clothes in the Ten Commandments, she encountered a costume failure. This failure demonstrated the delicate balance that many women in Hollywood had to attempt to keep during that time period. It was necessary for Baxter to provide the sensuality that was anticipated from her character while maintaining the modesty of her clothing. Despite the fact that Anne Baxter was a well-known actress, it should not come as a surprise that she was involved in a variety of embarrassing scandals and rumors. Following the premiere of All About Eve in 1950, one of the most significant rumors began to circulate. As a result of her performance in the film, Baxter was meant to be considered for an Oscar nomination in the category of Best Actress. The idea, however, was altered, and she was relegated to the rank of supporting actress as a result of Bette Davis. Within the movie, Bette Davis portrayed the role of her adversary, Margot Channing. In real life, there were speculations that both of them were competitors with one another. As a result of Baxter's inability to win the award for Best Actress and receiving the prize for Supporting Actress instead, many people believed that this would make their competition become even more intense. Not until a few years after the film's initial release, Baxter provided clarification on the topic, stating that although they may have been competitors on screen, they were actually very close in real life. On the set of All About Eve, she stated that Bet and I did not have a battle going on between us. All throughout the filming, the studio made an effort to play that up, but I found that I had a lot of respect for her. The fact that she would come on set and go crazy at me was nothing more than a joke between the two of us. That was without a doubt one of the most joyful enterprises I've ever worked for. However, when it came time for the Academy Awards, Baxter insisted on competing against Davis for the award of Best Actress. This caused many people to wonder whether the two were actually competitors in real life. During an interview, she mentioned that I had been recognized as a star in the film All About Eve. It would have meant that I would have had to accept a lower billing if I had been entered as a supporting actress, and I thought that I had put in too much effort over the course of all those years for that. One day, a buddy of mine from the Academy called me and informed me that the studio was still attempting to cast me in a supporting role, despite the fact that I had informed them that I did not want to be considered for the role. Although the Academy was concerned that she and Davis would be a duplication of one other's efforts, Baxter remained steadfast and made certain that Davis was nominated for the award of Best Actress. Through the course of time, they both ended up canceling each other out, and Judy Holliday ended up becoming the recipient of the prize for the film Born Yesterday. When Anne Baxter departed little to the imagination, she was at the center of a number of scandals, including the failure of her costume for the Ten Commandments. Other scandals included the circumstances surrounding her departure. It was frequently revealed by Anne Baxter that she had the impression that she was miscast in the character of Nefertari due to the fact that she had Irish looks. She even wanted to wear a false nose from Egypt, but DeMille did not allow her to do so. He told her, "No, Baxter, your Irish nose will remain in this picture." Despite the fact that Baxter had some doubts about the film, she found it enjoyable to see it once it was out, and over Easter she watched it every year. In addition to this, Baxter viewed her part in the Ten Commandments as a form of retribution. As you may recall, the studio had originally intended for Baxter to play the role of Bathsheba in David and Bathsheba. However, the director, Henry King, expressed his belief that she was not capable of portraying a historical queen. Specifically, Susan Hayward was cast in the role. After Baxter departed the studio in 1953, she was given the opportunity to exact her vengeance the following year when she was cast in the role of Nefertari in the film Ten Commandments. To everyone's surprise, it ended up becoming the most financially successful biblical film ever produced. In addition to her role in the film The Ten Commandments, Anne Baxter also had a well-known part in the film The Razor's Edge. Nevertheless, it appears that she had to overcome some obstacles in order to land this acting position. She disclosed this information during an interview, stating that Daryl Zanuck initially did not take her into consideration for the role of Sophie in The Razor's Edge. It was said by Daryl that Baxter had stated in the interview that he believed I was a librarian. He believed that I was very intelligent. After some time, she was cast in the role. It is evident from Anne Baxter's career that she did a lot of work and put in a lot of effort to achieve many of the jobs that she has. But sadly, the thing that most people remember is the moment when she wore a bad dress in the Ten Commandments, which left little room for the imagination. It is well knowledge that Anne Baxter takes great pride in her acting. During an interview, She stated, however, a great number of individuals do not share the same sentiments. Aside from the fact that she left little to the imagination with her translucent clothing, to the point that many people say they could see her nipples through them. There is also the issue of poor acting. Despite the fact that DeMille and the Hollywood Reporter praised her performance as being extremely good, and the New York Daily News praised her role as being remarkably effective, there were still criticisms regarding her portrayal of Nefertari in the film, even if her interpretations have been acclaimed by some audiences. There are certain audiences that consider her performance to be over the top or unconvincing. Despite the fact that many individuals did not agree with her acting, the endorsements that she received from reputable newspapers indicate that her performance was exactly what DeMille was searching for. Baxter's acting has been criticized by a number of audiences for being overly dramatic, wooden, or campy, and these audiences have showed less forgiveness in their assessments. There have been some viewers who have stated that her performance made it difficult for them to become engaged in the film. And there have also been others who have described her acting as being comparable to that of an unskilled drama student. There was also criticism over the sequences that she had with Moses, which Charlton Heston had played. It has been said that the roles are irritating. And some people believe that she did not possess the level of nuance that was necessary for her character. Lovers who are not lovers of Baxter have also been very critical of her work in movies such as The Ten Commandments and other films. The term overactor has been applied to her, and some viewers have expressed their opinion that her performances throughout her career have never been believable. This includes her work in the film All About Eve, which has received a great deal of praise. A few of individuals have even stated that her performance rendered the most memorable aspects of the Ten Commandments into caricatures. Many of Baxter's supporters continue to be of the opinion that her portrayal of Nefertari is correct. They believe that although her combination of dramatic flair and emotional expressiveness might not be generally appreciated, it was nevertheless appropriate for the role that she was playing. Fans who defend her portrayal in the Ten Commandments argue that her exaggerated mannerisms are a perfect match for the heightened drama of the film. They call her performance purposeful camp when they say it. There are others who believe that Nefertari's vanity and jealousy play a significant role in her character, and Baxter's depiction does justice to the tragic tone that DeMille employs in his storytelling. She brought a great deal of lightness and charm to the otherwise serious film, which is one of the reasons why her character is still so remembered to this day. It was in her younger years that Anne Baxter began to achieve popularity as an actor in films such as The Ten Commandments, despite the fact that she had to deal with issues such as costume disasters. The fact that she is the granddaughter of Frank Lloyd Wright, a well-known architect and designer, has brought her a great deal of attention. Furthermore, she began her training in acting at the age of 13, attending classes taught by Maria Ospenskaya, a well-known Russian actress who also served as a teacher of acting. Not once, but twice, she has been considered for the Academy Award in the category of Best Supporting Actress. The first time Baxter appeared on stage was when she was 5 years old, in a school play. At the age of 6, she relocated to New York with her family, and she has continued to perform ever since. At the age of 10, she went to see a play on Broadway directed by Helen Hayes. Because she was so awestruck, she conveyed to her family that she had a dream of becoming an actor.